I'm Sherry Bernardi, 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com. Depend on it.
1250 WTMA, Charlie James.
And it is 9:06 at the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA, WTMA.com. Being joined this morning by Terry Allen and Steve Burwell. How are you guys?
Hello,
Man, I tell you what, good to see you.
Happy birthday, TMA.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
you guys were instrumental in our success. What date range were you guys on the air?
Well, Terry, you start because you're older.
Yeah, very much so. In 1965, May of 65, that's when I started.
At the Dock Street Theater.
Dock Street Theater, and we were still at that point the mighty TMA.
Right.
Yeah.
And how old a gentleman were you at the time when you started in radio?
I was about 19, 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was young.
So what made you decide? You said, I'm going to go do this radio thing. I'm going to try that out. What made you decide that?
Well, I was at college. I worked in the station at USC. I always wanted to be with TMA. I grew up listening to TMA. I'm a Charlestonian. And when I was at college, I worked at one of the stations there, WCOS, and went to TMA and auditioned with Doug Randall. And they had an opening 9 to noon. I took that. I took the bus to work. I didn't even have a car yet. I made minimum wage, which I'm embarrassed to tell you how much it was, so low. But it was more fun than you can imagine. Because back in those days, we used records. We used carts for commercials and jingles. And it was just, and did the contest, the only online contest.
Right.
Name it and claim it.
Yeah, very nice.
I mean, it was great.
I can tell you a story about contests.
Dan Moon tells a story where he was making $300 a week. And that was exorbitant.
Yes, it was.
I mean, it was
Yes, it
crazy.
was.
That was crazy. John, tell us a little bit about you and your role at WTMA.
I was there from 1974, from January of 74 all the way till 1981 when I heard the call to ordain ministry, and then I went to, but I came from Columbia prior to that, and I was at WNOK in Columbia.
Right, yeah.
And I was doing the morning show at WNOK in Columbia.
Really?
And they offered me an all-night shift here at WTMA, and I took it because WTMA had more listeners than any other station in the entire Southeast.
Right, yeah.
And I knew that I'd hit the big time. And
there you go.
I went from morning show to the all night show, but that was only for like 4 months, and then I moved to middays and pretty much got off the air and did commercials. And
the production director.
And I did all kinds of commercials. The Joker Lounge. The Joker is wild. And those were some of the things we
That's
did.
Right. You talked about, did either of you chase radio? Because I remember early in my career, when I first started out, I said, I'm not going to be one of these guys that chases radio. I'm not going to be up and down the dial. And I'm pretty proud to say that for the past 30 years, I have never broadcasted outside of the state of South Carolina.
Nor have I. You know,
And it's. I mean, you can do that, but is it worth it?
I'm certain you can, but I had no interest in it.
Right.
When I hit TMA, I wanted to stay forever.
Yeah.
Like that. But then got at other plans, and so I didn't get a chance to do that.
Okay.
But I was there for a good time.
You and ordained. How many former WTMA hosts have gone on to be ordained ministers?
There's something in the water.
There is obviously
there's,
something in the water cooler, definitely.
Charlie, you might consider this.
Well,
Charlie.
hallelujah. Well, ironically, I got to break this news to you. I am an ordained minister.
Oh, I didn't
and
know
there
that.
you go. Yeah.
There is something in the water.
Absolutely. There is something here. Many years ago that happened. So I buried people, baptized people, and married people. So.
Booby had a big, Bob Nash, Booby Nash had a big influence on me. In fact, he taught me timing. He taught me how to tell a joke.
Right.
And I didn't know, but I didn't know there's something to it. But anyway, Booby sort of found religion. He used to be extremely wild, like that.
No, I never heard about
that. One night after we got him out of jail, He all of a sudden got converted, and then he would talk to me because I would listen to him, and very few of those at the station were willing to listen to, but he would tell the gospel to me.
Right, yeah.
And he went from there to being a pastor. And Franco Hunt was right. He wanted to be known as a pastor when he did.
Yeah, absolutely. Just so many great stories. Terry, what did you go on to do?
Well, I had a mobile DJ service.
Nice.
Charleston Mobile Music. And from there, I took the next step and became a tour guide and started doing tours of Charleston. So I did that. I dabbled a little bit in real estate, and I don't know if I'll bring this up, but one piece I have is a church.
Yeah.
So I got in a way.
Yeah.
I'm involved in the
there you go.
in the religious area, but time at TMA was best time of my life.
Yeah, absolutely. There's something special about broadcasters, isn't there?
Yeah.
Either good or bad, there's something special, and once it's in your blood, it
was live back then.
Yeah.
We didn't have any delays on like that. I can remember doing a contest. In fact, I think they've got it on the radio somewhere, or in the archives somewhere. But I was doing a contest, and it had just changed. It was the mighty TMA Music Machine, and you had to guess what the name of the song was. And so it had just changed to another one. I had my finger on the cart that said "Does not compute." And we went on the air, and basically we would take the telephone and we would hang it into the microphone. We didn't
really. Oh my goodness!
That was how we did it.
Yeah.
And so I got a guy on. He was from Green Street in Mount Pleasant. There is no Green Street in Mount Pleasant. I didn't know that. But so I said, and now for $12.50, what is the name of that song? And he goes, I don't give a blank.
Blank.
Right on the air.
Yeah.
Right on the
Yeah.
air. Whoa! It does not compute. And went on from there. But I got into a little trouble over
Sure. Well, I am thankful for our big red button inside the studio. I am very thankful for that, Ed. I've only had to use it twice in 4 years. Ladies and gentlemen, John Burwell and Terry Allen joining us this morning. Thank you guys so much. What a great day. What a great morning. We will be right back with more of our 80th birthday celebration right here on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA.
Access Charlie James at 843-556-1250 or email charlie@WTMA.com. It's Charlie James and the TMA Morning Show.
The TMA Morning Show.
Now, here's another WTMA 80th anniversary flashback.
1985.
1250 WTMA Charleston, where it's 5 o'clock. And the top story at this hour, Woody Brooks could be in trouble for wrecking a state car. With more on that story and the rest of the news, here's Warren Ashmore. Thank you, Stephen. Good afternoon. Retiring budget official Woody Brooks could be held responsible for damages to a state car in that Williamsburg County wreck if he wasn't on state business. But his secretary said today he was working on a water and sewer problem that day. She said Brooks, head of the local government division of the State Budget and Control Board, had been visiting with the mayor in his hometown of Andrews discussing a water and sewer problem prior to the wreck that injured 7 people. The budget official, who was still at Trident Regional Medical Center in North Charleston today, was driving a state car when the accident happened on Saturday.
Sponsored by the Boot Jack in North Charleston, Somerville, and West Ashley. Or online at thebootjack.com. Step into the Boot Jack.
The TMA Morning Show. 1250 WTMA.
All right, there you go. Now, this may sound strange, what you are hearing right now. This may sound, that sounds a little bit better. This may sound a little bit strange, but ladies and gentlemen, I am speaking to you right now from an RCA Model 77 microphone. This is the type of microphone that would have been used in 1939, 1940, when WTMA first started at Dock Street Theater. This was restored. It is property of Bruce Roberts, who is here. Where's Bruce? Where's Bruce? There he is. Bruce is back there. One of the great engineers. I tell you what, this town, Bruce has probably put together more radio stations than anybody else on the planet. I mean, he is the guy, of course, the mentor to our engineer JT, who is absolutely fantastic. But this is an actual 1940s era RCA Model 77 microphone. Still sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Yeah, it sounds all right. But I'm going to now transfer over to my Shure SM7B, a little bit more modern
Technology. How about that? There we go. Because this is actually equalized and makes me sound a little bit better. So we're being joined right now by Steve Harrigan. He was a program director here at WTMA for a while. Good morning, Steve. How are you, pal?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great, Charlie.
It's so good to see you. When were you on WTMA?
I was here in the early 80s, 80 through 83, and I did afternoons.
Right.
As well as program director duties.
Now, WTMA, at one point, we had the largest radio audience in the Southeast. What was it like to come to WTMA? I mean, was this a dream of yours? Was it something you strove for?
Oh, yeah, it was great. I grew up in Charleston. I listened to TMA. I remember all the old guys, Doug Randall,
Right.
Rick Allen, Bob Scott, Bob Mitchell, and Jim Diamond. It was great. And so it was a dream.
Yeah.
And I finally got here.
You got here,
Yeah,
and you loved every minute of it, didn't you?
I did.
Just about. Let's say just about, because you never love every minute.
I could never get John Trenton to hire me, but anyway.
Now, we even know, I mean, Stephen Colbert, Charleston's own embarrassment, Stephen Colbert, he talks about his memories of WTMA growing up. What was that like to be part of a legendary radio station?
I don't know. I can't describe it. It's just great. It was a lot of fun. Something I always wanted to do, and I did it while I was young and could actually get away with it.
There you go.
Had an understanding wife, and
that's very important. That's very important.
And we're still married. Going to be married 50 years in December, so it must have worked. So.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Steve Harrigan, former program director here at 1250 WTMA. Joined right now by a man who goes by many names: attorney, Lulu's dad, Kathy's son. Trey Harrell's joining us right now. Trey, how are you, buddy?
All of those titles are better than Attorney Trey Harrell, so I'll take that all day long.
I want to thank you so much for being such a part of our family. I know we have a lot of fun on Tuesdays and Thursdays because we not only talk about your law practice, we talk about everything else that's going on.
All the fun stuff.
All the fun stuff, and it is a ball.
And, I'll tell you, growing up in Charleston, the way I was fortunate enough to do, WTMA was a big part. Not a lot of teenagers listen to talk radio, but I can remember listening in the afternoons to Rocky coming to and from school, and great memories of that. Learning a lot. I remember I graduated from high school during the 2000 election, so I can remember tuning in and listening to the commentary, breaking down what was going on and how things were. I'm not going to say that's why I'm a lawyer, but it kind of helps. So,
absolutely, absolutely. Well, buddy, we appreciate you being on.
Thank you for letting me be a part of it. Congratulations.
Oh, man. Thank you so much. I always say that talking is the world's oldest profession. Because somebody had to ask for it, right? I mean, that's just the way it goes.
There you go.
Thank you guys so much, Steve and Trey. We appreciate that. We appreciate your family and everything.
You.
And how many of you guys have flirted with my wife so far? That's what I want to know. The lovely Miss Sheila is here. I understand that. That's fine. And everywhere I go, it's like, how are you? I'm Charlie James. I go, oh, Charlie, how are you? And this is my wife, Sheila. And they always go, oh, Sheila. Sheila's here. So the lovely Miss Sheila is here. And we appreciate everybody tuning in. Scott Kaysen's here. Scott, how are you, buddy? Good to see you. Of course, Rocky D's here. John Steinberger is here. So many great dignitaries that we've seen. Want to thank the mayor, Mayor Tecklenburg, Mayor Haney for coming by this morning. Certainly want to thank the governor for his issuing the proclamation of tomorrow being 1250 WTMA Day throughout the state of South Carolina. That just absolutely means the world to us. And you guys are our family, and we certainly appreciate everything that you do. Trey, I don't know if you want to talk about this on the radio, but you have a lot of people comment to you about your appearance here on WTMA, don't you?
I do, yeah. A lot of people tell me that I could be funnier. But, I say it's the host who's got to set up the jokes. But,
that's my fault. That's my fault.
No, we have a lot of fun. And, I mean, I can tell you that since Harrell Insurance has started advertising, or I've started advertising, WTMA has really helped grow the business. Because let's be honest, that's kind of why we do this. It's promotional for businesses. But the WTMA and the Cumulus family have really helped the Harrell family grow in Charleston even more. So we're so appreciative to everything WTMA does, everything Cumulus does, and all your folks, whether it's Matt or Lauren and your sales department that are so great. or you just bragging about us occasionally. So
I'd love to do that.
We have a good time, and we're glad that Herald Insurance could write your homeowner's insurance.
And we're glad that you did. Absolutely. Steve Harrigan, let's go back to you, because what was it? I mean, how have you seen the landscape in Charleston change throughout the years? Because I guess post Hugo, we're a different place, aren't we?
Most definitely. When I was growing up, I could crawl across Highway 17.
Right.
I grew up West Ashley. I did not worry about being hit, but now I wouldn't never try it. So.
Yeah, I know, that's right. You
so
certainly
all y'all
don't do
from up north can go on home now.
That's right. If you don't mind, we would appreciate that. I always think we need a revolving door there at the entrance of Charleston. We don't need a key from the mayor anymore. It's just a revolving door. It's always open.
Yeah, just leave your money and
if you don't
and
mind.
you can listen to WTMA, stream it,
That's
so you can
right.
still get
That's
it.
right.
That's
exactly right. Oh, I'm sorry, G-Man. Wayne is out in Somerville. I think I can do this remotely here. Let's see if I can. Let's go to Wayne in Somerville. Good morning, Wayne. You're on the air at 1250 WTMA. I am not hearing Wayne right now, G-Man. This is the first time we've tried to do. Let's try to get. Okay, we'll get Wayne on here in just a second. Let's try this. Wayne, are you there?
After 80 years, we still got technological issues. I think you'd figure it out within 80
You'd have
years.
thought we'd have figured out the phone thing by now. I guess so. So Wayne had to drop off. Wayne, call back, and we'll just let the G-Man control that from the studio. I tried to do it here remotely, and obviously that didn't work. Still a lot of technology is lost on me. JT's on it. JT, well, good. Well, you would think we could get it. We got two of the greatest engineers on the planet here. You think we could get this thing taken care of? They'll get on this. There we go. All right. 843-556-1250 is the number to be on the program this morning. That's 843-556-1250. If you want to call in with any WTMA memories or anything like that, they would certainly love to talk to you. I want to get John Steinberger up here. Let's go. John, come on up here. I want to see you. John's been waiting back there. Am I on the wrong thing? Are we on? All right, we got to call. JT's helping us out right now. This is live radio, ladies and gentlemen. Live radio. So, John, how are you? Good morning. Welcome to WTMA.
Oh, thank you, and happy birthday.
Thank
Big
you
day.
very much. I tell you what, 80 years, 1939, we started this thing. 30 years ago, we went to talk radio. I know that you are very involved in it. Talk radio is such an important thing. Especially in the political climate that we have today, right?
Well, it's the voice of the people.
Sure.
Before talk radio, we had no way to ask questions to elected officials
Right.
and get feedback. So
Yeah.
That's really big. All the newsmakers are on WTMA, and we get to ask them questions.
That's absolutely our goal, because it is a conversation. And well, I tell you what, we were, if you really think about it, we were the first social media, were we not?
Absolutely. And
So,
you
because
get your fingers on the pulse. You find out what are people actually thinking.
Exactly right, and that's exactly what we love to do. I was talking with Selena Zito last
she's
night.
great.
She is fantastic. She was at the Charleston meeting last night, and you see a lot in the news, but it's the people that will really tell you the direction that this country and this community is going. Don't look at the polls. Don't look at the television. Don't look at the major pundits nationally. Get out there in Somerville. Get out there in Goose Creek. Get out there in wherever you want at Johns Island, and see what those people are talking about.
Go to the coffee shops.
Go to the coffee
Go to the breakfast
shops.
places.
Yeah. Well, this woman, Selena Zito, never flies to any event, and she never takes the highway. She always takes the back roads, and she stays at bed and breakfast so that she can get the finger of the pulse.
And doesn't need a chain stores.
No, that's right. That's right. So it's a really awesome speech last night that she gave.
She actually predicted that Donald Trump would win,
Right.
based on going to Trump rallies and seeing how people would hang out for 5 or 6 hours before the event.
Yeah.
The enthusiasm level was so high he couldn't lose.
Oh, yeah, and you're pretty much right about that. We got just a few seconds here before we get to the bottom of the hour. When we get back, I would like to tell you how I got started in talk radio and why I wanted to be in talk radio. I have that story for you coming up in just a couple of minutes. We are celebrating our 80th birthday here at 1250 WTMA, 80 years broadcasting on the air here in Charleston. We certainly appreciate you guys tuning in today, because you absolutely mean the world to us.
Country's big talker, 1250 WTMA, Charleston.
anybody would present me with anything bad because they know how much I love this country.
1250 WTMA with Charlie James.
Celebrating our 80th birthday on the air here at 1250 WTMA. Sean Pinkston in the house with his lovely brand new bride, Andrea. Good to see you, folks. Mary Ann and Eddie Taylor are here. Mary Ann is introducing herself to people as if you don't know who she is. Everybody knows Mary Ann Taylor. Everybody knows Eddie. A lot of folks know this guy that we're talking to right now, Scott Kaysen, joining us right here on the stage here at 1250 WTMA. Scott, when did you work at WTMA?
Well, I was here right when we switched to talk radio.
Yeah.
June 1989, and stayed here. Dan Moon, of course, had taken over as operations manager. Mm-hmm. We did that, and then about 2 months later, we had something called Hugo hit. And that pretty much turned things around.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it did because we were one of the stations that was on the air and stayed on the air. Of course, briefly we were off during the storm.
Right.
We didn't want to hang around for some reason. But that's when it really took off. And, of course, especially locally, contributed a lot.
Yeah.
And people, it was one of the most you were working 12, 14 hours a day, but it was one of the most amazing experiences being able to, help the community and do things like that.
Sure. What was it like, the day before you flipped over to talk radio? Well, I mean, was it just a buzz of activity?
Yeah, what was happening is what we had to do. Hugh Jett was the general manager at the time. He got me over there. What we had to do is we had to get a lot of mock commercials,
right? Yeah.
Because we hadn't sold anything really as of yet. We had a couple of clients, and so we had to get a lot of stuff in there to be able to, because you had a set format, because you were. You had to fill that space.
Right.
It wasn't like you could just, and we didn't have anything really going right there local. So, it was basically getting all that together, the production all together. I was also the production director, and we just getting everything together was kind of hair raising, but it was a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
But it's like in anything in radio. Things are at times tense, but you can't knock the fun that you have while you're doing it.
Right. The benefits far outweigh the trials and tribulations. So you're on that. I mean, my goodness, how were you getting prepared? I mean, you were brand new on the air.
Yep.
As a talk station, and then all of a sudden you've got to make these decisions regarding a massive hurricane that is coming towards Charleston. Were you like, we're not ready for this?
Yeah, it was. We were kind of concerned because at the time, Dan was still. He was on the air, and we were ordered a mandatory evacuation. Mm-hmm. And the problem was that we didn't know if we would be able to get out in time. I mean, that's how crazy it was.
Right.
But we did, and I was worried about Dan because I had left and heading to Columbia. At that time, it took about 6 hours to get to Columbia. I think because of the, but. Sure enough, we all got out, and it was the afterwards, which was really the hard work.
Right. Oh, yeah. And that's always the case, right?
Because we had the big generator, and Bruce Roberts helped us, and we, the big generator and getting that going. And every once in a while, it'd conk out, and then we'd have to get somebody to give us some fuel to go in there. Right. but it was a lot of fun. It's like I say, you can't erase those memories. They're just. Everything you went through, and not only that, but so many people in the community helped contribute as well.
Oh, sure, sure.
So that was
well, buddy. You were such a big part of this radio station. We appreciate what you did, and we still appreciate you. And thank you for being a part of the WTMA history. Scott Kaysen, everyone,
absolutely
joining us on the program this morning. So, two. We've got line number 2. Oh my goodness, look at this. I'm going to try this. Please work. Bill Sharp is joining us right now on line number 2. Good morning, Bill. How are you, pal? Oh, that good. How are you doing? Still can't get this thing to work here. I'm not really sure what's going on. Can you put us on the air in the studio? Wait a minute. Hold on. Maybe I've got something. Maybe I've done something wrong here. Let's do this. Hey, Bill, are you there?
I'm here.
Yay! How about that? Bill Sharp, ladies and gentlemen. So glad to have you on the program as we celebrate our 80th birthday here at 1250 WTMA.
Charlie, congratulations. It is a pleasure. And without WTMA, Charlie, I don't know where I'd be. Probably either dead or drunk in some ditch. I mean, you guys gave me my start. I have Franco Hunt to thank for that.
Right.
And it was just a great time. I used to work here in the summers at TMA when I was off from college. I was at Emory University in Atlanta, and I'd come home and work the news. And Frank was instrumental in giving me my first full-time job, Charlie. Now, Charlie, let me tell you something. You owe me big time.
Well, I'm sure I do.
No, let me tell you why. You owe me your job, Charlie, and here's why. I was talking to Q one day, you know Q, and John Quincy.
John Quincy, right.
And he said, hey, Bill, we got a new guy we're trying out here at WTMA. And I said, no. I said, I know. I've been listening to Charlie now for a couple of weeks. He said, what do you think? And I said, John, he's your man.
Well, buddy, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Charlie is your guy, and bam, they hired you right after that.
Well, I appreciate that, Bill. Thank you very much. You know what? I, too, am glad you're not dead or in a ditch, or I wouldn't be here. That's
Well, I mean, so, Charlie, I expect those royalty checks to start next week.
Well, the truck will be in on Monday with my paycheck.
You know, Charlie, I go so far back. One of my heroes back then was a guy named John Trenton.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the morning shift, and as a college kid, it was tough to get up at 4 and 5 in the morning to do the news. I did the news.
Right.
And so John would come over the intercom during a break or during a commercial, and he'd say, wake it up, Bill. Wake it up, buddy. Get it up. Let's get up. Let's get awake. So I'd have to do that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So what made you want to work at WTMA as a young man?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I guess I was crazy, Charlie, pretty much like you and everybody else was. Well, I grew up listening to what we used to call Tiger Radio, WTMA, the mighty 1250, the nifty 1250.
Right.
And, Charlie, if you were a kid in Charleston and you liked rock and roll, and most of us did, there was only one place to go. That was WTMA. I idolized the station. I idolized the disc jockeys. And when I had a chance to work there in news, man, I jumped on it bigger than you know what.
That's
and
awesome.
I got to tell you, I have many heroes from WTMA, Charlie, including you. But one of them early on was Terry Allen. I idolized Terry Allen. I'd watch him. He was weekends at that point. And I'd come in and watch him spin records and talk flawlessly, and I thought he was terrific.
Absolutely. Terry, there you go. Terry, big round of applause for Terry Allen. Bill Sharp, buddy. So I guess, Bill, one day you looked in the mirror and you said, you know what? My hair is too good. My teeth are too good for radio. I'm going to get out of here and I'm going to go join television. And is that the way it worked out?
That's not quite the way it worked out, Charlie. What happened was, you know, in radio, it really doesn't matter too much what you look like. I had long hair back in the 70s and a little bit of a growth of beard. And when I got the TV offer at Live 5, I thought to myself, I really don't want this because I'll have to shave and cut my hair. But I did, and things worked out. But, Charlie, it was because of WTMA that I got my start. And happy anniversary. You guys are just doing great things. You know, back then you were top 40.
Yeah.
Now you're killing it with talk, and you're leading the pack, Charlie. You're leading the way.
Well, I appreciate it, Bill. Thank you very much for being on the program with us, buddy. It means the world to me. Thank you, Bill. We'll talk to you soon.
Take care, Charlie, and wish everybody there a happy anniversary. I think it's wonderful.
We'll do it. Thank you, Bill. How about a big round of applause for Bill Sharp, ladies and gentlemen? Bill Sharp. I've had an interesting radio career. I've been in broadcasting for about 30 years. And I'm going to take a little more time. I want to tell you that story coming up in a minute, but we got a guy out there that's been waiting for 16, almost 17 minutes now. Wayne is on with us. Wayne, good morning. You're on 1250 WTMA.
Good morning, Charlie. I'm going to give you something that only I can give you today.
All right.
When Fred asked me, what do you think of Charlie James? I said, well, he's not a geeky. And over the period of time that I've listened to you, I've realized that the Savannah River runs into the Atlantic Ocean. So from this day forward, you can refer to yourself as a Charleston geeky.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you very much,
And,
Wayne.
I want to thank WTMA for coming out in the 60s playing benefit basketball games.
Yeah.
I want to tell Terry Allen when we were at the Baptist College talking about FM radio killing AM, WTB up in Charlotte and WTMA and the Big Ape have lived through the FM conversion. And it's really great to have you here in the Low Country. And from now on, when people ask you who you are, you can tell them you are officially a Charleston geeky.
All right, how about that? It's official. It's official. Wayne, thank you so much, buddy. We appreciate it. We appreciate it more than you know. I love these conversations that we have. We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, I'll kind of tell you how I got involved in all of this on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA.
Hi, I'm Lee Richards, and I had the wonderful opportunity of being the program director and morning disc jockey on WTMA from 1973 to 1978. Happy 80th birthday, WTMA, and many more to come.
WTMA.
2019 is a great year for WTMA. On June 1st, we celebrated our 30th year as a news talk station. And on June 15th, it's our official 80th anniversary. Saturday afternoons from 2 till 4, we look back at our 8 decades on the air as we present the history of TMA. We'll play back recordings of past broadcasts and talk to the voices that entertained Charleston during the last 8 decades. So join me, John Quincy, for another edition of the History of TMA, Saturday afternoon at 2 on the Big Talker.
Wake up with the TMA Morning Show. 1250 WTMA.
Broadcasting live before a studio audience for our 80th birthday here on 1250 WTMA. Final segment of the program. Before we get to our guests, I want to let you guys know just a little bit of my history, how I got to be here on this stage right now at our star stage at WTMA. It was about 30 years ago. I was working in television. I was a news photographer. I was the guy out with the camera covering the news. And I was hanging around with some folks that worked at this radio station, WKXC, in Augusta, Georgia. It was actually in North Augusta, South Carolina. And they always seemed like they had a lot of fun. And we'd go out and we'd hang out and things like that. And the program director took a liking to me, and he said, "Hey, Charlie, I tell you what, why don't you come fill in a little bit on the weekends?" And I said, "No, I don't want to be on the radio. That's not my thing. TV's my thing. TV's my thing. That's what I want to do." And he said, "No, well, think about it. Think about it." So finally, they needed somebody to do the news, right? So he said, "I'll tell you what, Charlie, come in and just fill in the news." I said, all right, fine, I'll fill in on the news." He said, "But there's only one thing. You got to get up at 3:30 in the morning." And I was like, wait a minute, hold on. Nobody told me about this. So I filled in for the news there. And I eventually they hired me as the news director and the newsreader at WKXC in Augusta. And I so desperately wanted to be good at that job. Unfortunately, I wasn't good at reading the news. So I said, listen, if I can't be good at reading the news, I'm nowhere near as good as Sherry Bernardi. So I said, if I can't be good at reading the news, at least I'm going to try to be funny reading the news. So I would always end my newscast with some funny little story, do a couple of things there, and that got quite popular there for a while. And then my program director came to me and said, this is on a country morning show, by the way. Program director came to me and said, "Why is my news guy funnier than my morning guy?" And I said, I don't know. I'm sorry. I won't do it again. He said, no. Starting Monday, you are my morning guy. And I said, I don't want to be the morning guy. He said, "I'll double your salary." I said, "You said Monday, right? Monday's 4:30 on Monday. We go start this show." So I did that. The show went to #1 in Augusta. It just had wildly successful ratings. From there, I went to Columbia at WVOC in Columbia, their big news talk station. Now, remember, I started out in news in Augusta and then went to country. Got to WVOC in Columbia. I was the host of Columbia's Morning News, and I did that for a couple of years. And they had lost one of their big-name country DJs at this guy's name was Jeff Roper. And Jeff Roper left, and the general manager came to me and said, "Well, I tell you what, we need a country DJ over on CO. You know anybody?" And I said, "Well, no, I'm good." And he said, "Wait a minute, you did country, didn't you?" I said, "Yeah, I did country." "Well, starting Monday, you're our morning guy on WCOS." And I said, "I don't want to do the morning show on WCMS on the COS on the country station." He said, "We'll double your salary." And I said, "Monday is that sounds real good to me. Yeah, I can do that on Monday." So we did it there, and then. Moved to Charleston, came to Charleston a couple of years ago, and we was on the air at another station here in Charleston, and I can only describe my time there as disaster. It was just an absolute disaster. So I got out of radio, and I bet everybody in radio has said it a time or two, I'm done with radio. I'm done with it. But I took a job as a manager for homeowners associations. Yeah, I know. I see your faces. And it was about a year of that when this job at WTMA came open, and I applied for this. And I called John Quincy, and I said, "John, I want to be your new morning guy over on WTMA." He said, "Well, Charlie, we're losing a real talk show host." And I said, who is this guy that I was the host of WVOC in Columbia. So he hired me to try it out, and everything worked out. And I'll tell you what, with the support of Bill Burr, thank you, pal. You have been so supportive of this program from the beginning. We appreciate that.
It's always an honor to fill in for you. Of course, I always come in here before I go to the TV station over at Fox 24. So I come in to work at WTMA in a coat and tie. So I always say I'm the best dressed man on the radio.
You absolutely are. You absolutely are. And we've got another guy who's become quite the celebrity here in Charleston. Steve from Hanahan is joining us, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Well, John caught me by surprise, but just happy birthday. And, I go back a ways. I was born in Roper Hospital in 1947, so
Right.
You knew I grew up with WTMA.
That's right.
Although at night or on the beach, we'd try to tune in to 96.90 Big Ape or Whoa in Fort Wayne.
Whoa in Fort Wayne,
We'd always come back to WTMA, but it was just fun growing up with Sherry and Tara, Dan Moon, Richard, and you, and you're always a fair host and give everybody a fair amount of time when they call in.
Well,
and you said something when you first started, conversation and not confrontation, and that works. And,
well, I appreciate that.
Worked well.
I appreciate that. Bill Burr, your support throughout the years.
Oh,
Good
Charlie,
gracious.
you're the best.
We love you.
I love you guys, too. Thank you.
Celebrating our 80th anniversary in 2019.
WTMA Charleston.
A Cumulus.